I'm Tash.
And I'm Damo.
And together we are so excited to bring you this week's episode of
The Bari Chronicles.
How you going, Damo?
Doing a lot better now.
That is good. So this week we are talking to the one and only Damo about some things that have happened recently. So do you just want to give our awesome listeners a little recap on the journey that is you, just so that they're caught up?
So last week I spoke briefly about the dilation that I needed and the endoscopy. But it was not much after that I had a ketamine infusion. So for people that don't know, I was in a car accident 2006, I think. We were actually in it together.
We were. It was 2007.
2007. We were rear-ended, so it wasn't my fault. It was the person who was talking on their mobile phone at the time.
Yes.
Not paying attention. So I get a little bit passionate at times about, when I see people out driving and they're on their phone or they're...
Don't do it.
It's like, don't do it. Don't. You could wreck someone's life.
Stop it. No.
And I ended up with with all sorts of back problems. But it was always blamed on my weight because, if you lost the weight, the pain would go away.
If you lost the weight, everything would magically be better in the land of unicorn farts and
fairies.
Other mysteries that we know are just not true.
And it sent me into a real spiral because I was always blaming myself that I was in so much pain, and it's like the ultimate gaslighting from the medical profession is saying, "Oh no, there's nothing we can do. It's all your fault. You need to lose weight."
I can still remember our grandmother, Nan, saying to me, because one time she was unwell and I said to her, "Nan, you really should go to the doctor." And she said, "There's no point, Tashi. If I go to the doctor, they will just tell me to lose weight. I could walk in there with my head hanging by a thread and they would still bring up my weight." Unfortunately, that was very, very true then, and it can still be true now. Although I would like to think that things are getting better, but in some instances they're not.
And it's great now that we have advocates for us, like the Weight Issue Network.
Yes.
And other...
the Obesity Collective.
The Obesity Collective. They have fantastic people running them. And if you feel like that you're being discriminated against in your health journey by your doctors, contact the team at Weight Issues Network because they're there to advocate for patients.
Yeah.
But
anyway, yes.
So, moving right along.
We are passionate about that, can you tell?
That high horse is very high.
He is. He's a high horse.
Yes.
And we like to ride him.
Yes.
We do.
And actually we'll be doing an interview with Andrew from the Weight Issues Network coming up.
Yeah, very soon. Which will be awesome. Andrew is great. We've already chatted with Andrew.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely guy.
So after being told that I needed to lose weight and, it was all my fault, I just sort of had to live with it. And my GPs at the time, they were trying to be helpful and they were prescribed painkillers, opiates. And I believe that people should be able to access what they need to survive, to have a life. And I know there's that big debate about opiates and all that. We're not doing that today.
Yeah, we're not. we're not getting into that one.
So I ended up on, it was over 200 milligrams, or the equivalent of 200 milligrams of morphine a day. And I was still in pain. Eventually, when I lost all the weight with the weight loss surgery, the pain got worse.
Yeah.
And
look, that doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
For some people, they lose their weight and their pain does significantly reduce. So please know, if you're listening and you're hoping that a reduction in your body weight is going to have an impact on your pain, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart.
I am an extreme story.
Yeah.
And even my doctors, and they say that I'm quite complex.
You're a complex little flower.
Yes. So that sent me down a whole path of different surgeries and all sorts of stuff. Since I've had sort of everything that can be done to stabilise my back, and what I'm looking for now is pain management. And it's such a complex thing when you have persistent chronic pain. The way to manage it, for me, is a mixture of a very low dose of pain medication. But I know my mental health plays a huge part of that.
Yep.
And so when I had had to have the endoscopy and the dilation done, it really threw me because, I'm 10 years post sleeve and suddenly I'm needing
a dilation
done, and it really threw me, and just my thought patterns and processes, they weren't super great, and I ended up having a pain flare up.
Yeah.
And it was a big one, where I went to the hospital, went to emergency. I don't normally do that because I have my coping strategies and different things. So I had a ketamine infusion, and that is really good for me at lowering those pain levels, and it just lets me sort of reset back to my base level of pain.
Yeah.
So if you did it in the number scale, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the worst pain you can imagine, my base is about 4. Which, I can function quite well during the day and do what I need to do. When I was having the flare-up, it was at about an 8. So it was affecting every aspect of my day. It was affecting my work. It was just everything.
Yep.
So bring it back down to base was fantastic. And it was during that time Tash challenged me to what were my ins and what were my outs for this year. And it really got me thinking, because it can be so easy to just drift along, can't it?
Oh, yeah.
And
100%.
And that's all right, because it's all right having a time where we might just be drifting along. But, I've got hopes and dreams and things that I want to achieve. And if I'm not setting those goals, then there's a good chance that I'll never get there.
Yeah.
So my ins for this year, straight up mental health.
Yep.
And honestly, in this day and age and with everything going on, I think there's a lot of people that could do with looking after their mental health.
I agree with you. But how... I agree. Mental health is a big in for me in 2024. I have notoriously been a workaholic. I I definitely switched my obsession with food to some other things, and for me, work is one of them. But when I get into a cycle where, the anxiety or the stress or whatever is happening and I push myself, I have found that everything about my productivity and everything is affected. So mental health is huge, but what are the strategies that you're going to adopt this year to help look after that?
Yeah, because that is such a big thing. We hear the term mental health and self-care and, but really what is that?
It? What is that?
So for me, I quite like meditating.
Yep.
I find it just helps me refocus where I am, brings down my heart rate.
Yep.
And, it's for me, it's good to be able to spend 10 or 15 minutes just clearing my head.
Yep.
The other thing for my mental health is I'm looking at getting back with a psychologist.
Yep, that's great. Very good.
Because there are aspects even of the chronic pain that you need to be able to talk about it. And my family is fantastic and they're always open to me talking, but I don't always want to put some of what I'm thinking onto them.
Yeah. I 100% agree. If Damo and I have been each other's support system for quite a long time, but there are certainly times where I reach out to my psychologist. I have had a psychologist for years, and I do reach out to my psychologist because I don't want to burden my family. I don't want to let them know, just exactly the types of intrusive thoughts or whatever I might be having. We really need to normalise this. We really, really need to normalise the topic of mental health in terms of bariatric people.
Yeah.
Because I think that we can really underestimate just how important it is. I know not every surgeon requires a psychological assessment to have surgery, but I know that back in the day, like back when I had my lap band many years ago, that was actually part of the process. And I was frightened. I was genuinely frightened, to be honest, about some of the challenges that I'd faced and the reasons why I had become a bigger person. Because I knew that my mental health played a huge role in that. And I was scared that if I started to chat about those things, that I might be blacklisted and I might not get my little green tick that I needed to go ahead with surgery.
Yeah, because that was something that I was scared about when I was having surgery. It was like, oh, do I have to get through this psychologist before I can have my surgery? And I think it's important that we start changing that perception.
Yeah, framing it differently. It can be such an empowering and wonderful relationship to develop with a really caring, compassionate person that wants to see us achieve the things that we're wanting to achieve in our lives, and that has tools that they can give us to help us get where we're wanting to go.
Yeah.
And that's how I've found the relationship that I have with my therapist anyway. And I really hope that you're able to find that for you too, Damo, because it's very powerful.
Yeah. And like the surgery for me was only the first step.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I got, even my first night after having surgery, I had a explosive diarrhea moment in bed, and just that in itself, because it was like one of my first hospital stays.
Yeah.
I was I was scared of what the nurses were going to think, you know, and I had all these thoughts going in my head. Oh my God, you know, I'm supposed to be a man here, and
I'm an adult here, and I've
shattered
just
myself. And but they were so caring and kind, and you know, but having someone who's experienced with weight loss surgery, a psychologist especially, to be able to talk through those fears and concerns and the what ifs. You know, what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if I've spent all this money and it's not working? And
what if I lose my hair? What if my skin gets saggy? What if my relationship changes? What if my work situation changes? All of those what ifs.
Yeah. And the more I see it, the more I realise that we're all like everyone else.
We are.
And if one of us is having those thoughts, you can guarantee that other people are having those thoughts as well. Mm-hmm. So you're not the only one who is worried if the psychologist will tick the box to say you can have surgery, or the dietitian, or what do I do if I don't get along with my dietitian, or you know, there are so many thoughts that we can have, and we can work it up to be something that it isn't.
Mm. Yeah.
And I know I did that, you know, I had coming down to Victoria and finding the pain clinic, I had all these preconceived ideas of what they were going to do, and it was completely opposite.
Yeah.
And developing an amazing relationship with my pain specialist, and we need to be open to letting people be kind to us.
Yeah, and to understand that it's okay to change.
Yeah.
It's okay to change. It's okay to challenge ourselves, and that is my great big in for 2024, is challenging myself to keep short accounts with people and to be quick to forgive and quick to move on and to work on through those mental health challenges really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Not allow it to rob the joy out of the whole day. If there's you know that little blip or little incident, it's not a bad day. It might be a bad 5 minutes, but it's not a bad day.
Because there is a difference to actually dealing with, say, a relationship issue, or just sort of suppressing it and not speaking about it. Hey.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah. And it's okay that we have discussions with people, and you know, it might be over the way they speak to us, or things that they might say about us while we're having our weight loss surgery, or you know, going through that process of losing weight. It comes up quite a lot, and people's feelings do get hurt.
Yeah.
But we don't have to take on what people say to us and just stuff it all down and hold on to that.
And that's where the psychologist, that relationship is just so important.
Yeah, because they can give us keys and strategies in how to speak to someone.
Yep, that's right.
How to respond to someone like that. And that's what I need, because I can tend to be a little bit blunt if I decide, I'm not putting up with this, I'm going to say something. And, you know, there are some relationships that I don't want to damage like that.
Yeah.
But I also want to be treated with respect.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's great, Damo.
The next is the physical side of dealing with my chronic pain. And it's so all-encompassing. There's so many aspects of a day, of a week, that affects pain levels. And one of the ways that I've even been told that it's okay to do it from my psychiatrist and pain specialist is including an alcoholic drink in my day. For me personally, is reducing that.
Yep, awesome. That's great.
I don't want to be doing that every day, and I've already started reducing it. So, these things take time.
Yep.
But I'm going to get there.
Yeah. Good on you, Damo.
Another one, and this has been big for me, and it's been hard dealing with chronic pain and all that sort of stuff, is being actively present with my family.
Yeah. Yep.
It can be really easy when you're in pain all the time to just zone out or, I've got my phone and just start scrolling through, and you realise that you've missed whole conversations.
Yep.
You've missed whole visits with people and it's not that I want to do that. It's not that I want to avoid people or not be present. It's just been a coping mechanism.
Yep.
And this comes back to the mental health as well, I believe, is actively being able to use other tools to deal with chronic pain, but also be an active participant in family events.
Yeah, that's great.
So, there's a few things, and I guess what I'm saying, a lot of it for me is around my mental health. Reducing screen time is one of my outs.
Yeah.
I want to reduce screen time, and when we work online and do all that sort of stuff, it gets so easy to get caught up with that. And I found myself one night, I was doing some graphic design, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's no need for that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yep. I mean, I'm, as I've openly said, for me, a coping strategy around stress and anxiety has definitely been to throw myself into work. And it really can be very easy for me to do 16, 18-hour days.
Yeah.
And I have come to that point where I realise I cannot do that to myself anymore. Just putting in some really great boundaries, having those things around ourselves to make sure that we're doing okay, and it's okay to have those. It's okay to have those boundaries in place.
It is, and I'm looking forward to doing that, and I mean, we've discussed different things for running even our Facebook groups and all that sort of stuff, of ways that we can not feel like we've got to be on
all the time.
Yeah. And we're building a great team around us of moderators and people.
They're wonderful people.
Want to help.
Very, very kind people.
Yeah. So that's exciting. There's nothing really in my list that I'm sitting here going, oh, I know I need to change that, but I don't want to. I think I'm at a point where I've been able to recognise things that need to be changed.
And you're just keen to do it.
And I'm keen to do it.
I'm in very much the same space when it comes to the things that I've already changed this year, and so much of it comes back to family for me. It's one of the family is something that I suppose I haven't really talked about a lot, but it undergirds every single aspect of everything that I do. And just being there for the people that we love the most, for me, that's a massive motivator, and it's so exciting to have the privilege to be a part of of their lives, and in whatever capacity it is that they allow us to. And as as a mum, as my family grows, and as the kids get older, it really is a privilege if your children want you in their lives. And I don't take that lightly at all. And I absolutely want to be present for all of that and in all of those situations. So, yeah, switching off the social media at times has been really powerful for me, and just enjoying the moment. When it comes to the weight loss surgery side of things, just knowing that there is a life after the surgery. And all of this work, all of these things that we do, that we put in place, if we can just keep our motivators in front of us, I don't know, for me, it becomes so easy.
Yeah.
It just becomes easy. I know it's not easy, but my love for those that motivate me make it easy.
It's funny because coming up to weight loss surgery, having the surgery, and then when you're in the sort of active losing phase, it sort of takes up everything that we've got to do that.
It does.
It is so just the stress.
It's all encompassing.
And after doing that for, a year or 18 months, we can develop new habits that aren't necessarily beneficial for us because we've had to put all our energy into, changing our life. And I think that's also where the psychology can come in really helpful in establishing new habits.
Yeah, new habits, new ways of being.
Yeah, new ways of being and doing, so that we're not sort of still stuck in that everything's about weight loss surgery.
And can I encourage you, if you are listening and everything feels really overwhelming, or you're in those early days, it doesn't have to take 5 years or 10 years for you to be at the point where you're really starting to look after yourself in a holistic way. You've done such a wonderful job to make an incredibly difficult decision to reroute your insides in order to achieve your health goals. But make sure that in achieving the health goals, we don't neglect those things that are really, really important: our mental health, our relationships with ourselves, and also with those that we love. And I would just really strongly encourage you to, if you haven't got some good support around you in that area, to just consider it. Just think about it, because it really can be totally life-changing. I don't know exactly where I would be if I hadn't have considered those things. I didn't for the first year of my personal journey. I didn't have those things in place, and it was extraordinarily difficult. And I really, really struggled with all of the changes that were happening and how to process that. So yeah, it's just definitely something that I'm really glad I have in place now, but I certainly wish I had done it a bit smarter sooner. Yeah.
And on that note, I'm really excited because we've got 2 different bariatric psychologists that we're going to be speaking to.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, so because they really didn't exist when I had weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's wonderful that we've found some, and
we have these unicorn people.
yes,
it's so exciting.
and they're I've actually booked with one of them for the last week of February to record a podcast.
Oh,
with.
that's awesome.
So that's going to be exciting. And we've got another one that we're in discussions with.
Yeah.
Don't we? And these
because
people,
we know
we know what it's like.
We know.
We get it. And these people actually have openings on their books.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. But one thing I did want to mention, if you're going through anything at the moment and you're like, I need to speak to someone, there's a website called someone.health. Is that right? Yes. I'll put the link up in the description as well. But someone.health, and they actually do bulk bill psychology appointments.
So for those listening, bulk billing is an Australian term.
Yes.
But if you're an Aussie, you know what that is, and it means that you can access free psychology appointments.
Yes.
And all you need is that GP referral, and they do online appointments, and they have availabilities pretty quick.
Yeah, you can pretty much get one within 24 hours.
Which, let's face it, if you want help, I don't
want it in 2 weeks' time. You know, if I'm going through a moment and I need help now,
then
waiting 2 or 3 weeks or longer, you know, it is not great. So these guys, I even noticed on there one day, they have some of their psychologists will even take appointments up to 10 o'clock at night.
Wow. I didn't realise that.
I was impressed with. I was like, wow. And one of them that did late ones is even trained in body dysmorphia and all that sort of stuff. So they've got some really good options on there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, don't feel like you're doing this alone.
Yeah. So Damo will put the link for that in the description.
I will. So until next time, stay safe and we'll chat soon.
Bye.